Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Chris here from Fake Sports News, Access Rotation, however the flip you know me on these interwebs. And today I'm going to bring you guys something a little bit different. I'm sure you guys can see on the screen. We're talking about champs, the crowd on day one. Don't want to really mince too many words. You guys enjoy the intro as always. But yeah, I'm just getting into the state of Call of Duty. You guys know I've been a CC for the last 8 years. Been making COD content since I was in college. Now I have a job. So this was always something I did on the side for fun. Appreciate everyone who's shown a lot of love over the years. Some of you guys only keep up the league vis-a-vis me, which is a pretty cool accomplishment. Done a lot here, but I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this because let's take a look at these different crowd reactions, right? So this is Thursday at last year's champs. You guys can see Hydra, Kismet, Skies, and of course that man Sib. And okay, yeah, Hook was on Surge. Obviously, we know Hook is a world champ right now from the current champ. So clearly that establishes us in the timeline quite securely, right? So let's look at this next video. This is, of course, MYSL winning champs in 23. I think Dempsey's in the crowd here. Shout out to Dempsey, my guy. This is 2022, 2024, 2022. So these are all Thursdays, mind you. And then this is our current champs, 2025. So yeah, I mean, the last few weeks I've just been kind of racking my brain. I was sick all throughout champs, so I missed a lot of the matches I was watching from the good old bedside, which, as you guys know on the channel, is age-old tradition for me. I somehow always get sick with my health stuff during champs, and I always miss it. Ever since the start of this channel, first time I went to the ER for my health stuff was ironically the first champs I covered. So, yeah, that was Thursday. So, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the problem with the current format is that people still equate the current CDL champs to pre CDL champs. And as Ake so eloquently said, a man who competed at every single champs, they're just not the same event that they used to be. In comparison to modern day events, they're actually, I guess, a little bit more similar in his opinion. CDL champs is really CDL playoffs. Yeah, I mean, we had like stage one playoffs, we had worlds, we had all types of events that were a little bit more. They're not even comparable though, because they had elimination, open bracket play. So yeah, it's just different time, right? Like, and let's look at this formal clip real quick. So formal
It's
compared his
crazy to
champs
think that he's
run to
actually
Merck's
played.
champs win.
Isn't it crazy to think that he's played as many maps as I played in almost as many as I played in the final? I
Yeah,
played
like
7 maps in the final. He played 9 maps total.
I mean, yeah, like Formal just said it there. He played 7 maps in the final, and Merck played like what? So 3-0, 3-0. They played 4 matches, and then they beat Surge 5-3. So if my math is correct, that is 17 maps in total, ladies and gentlemen. That is not even close to what Formal played in like the first 3-4 rounds, right? Like, I'm not going to look at it just because this video would be way too long, but yeah, so God, my ears. So yeah, I mean, this is the venue. Like, days later. I mean, it did not get better. And then this was another thing that kind of made me realize that we're just not in a good spot, especially this year. I mean, you had the CEO of Toronto Ultra tweeting this to Scrap, basically saying, "You got DoorDash. Now it's time to go from the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium to the airport." As you guys can see, Toronto Pearson International Airport is the destination of this Uber. So he thought he ate with this one. Scrap came back and he had a meal. He said, "Good chirp, but let's not forget you're hosting the worst event anyone in this venue has ever been to. Also, hopefully, you're not giving out parking tickets to your players still for parking at the facility." Holy cow. All right, well, that's a scathing indictment, right? You're not giving out parking tickets to your players still for parking at the facility. Holy cow. All right, well, dirty laundry has been aired all over Twitter. As you guys remember, the year started off with Adam, the CEO of Toronto Ultra, famously saying that Toronto would have a better year than LA Thieves. They did not. Thieves won 2 events. They had a bad champs, but yeah, I mean, they had a much better year than, the Toronto Ultra. And looking at this, they definitely had a much better year because Adam, he thanked all the fans. He said, "Passion means everything. An era is coming to a close. Next, we'll head to the Esports World Cup as movie star KOI. And after that, we will see. Stay with us. The best stories are the ones we build together." So to me, this is hinting at the fact that maybe, just maybe, franchising is done. As you guys remember, Adam was also the CEO to unveil the fact that the CDL orgs got their $25 million investment back, and I believe they got some money for operational costs, maybe like 2 million. I'll pull up the Reddit thread and post the picture on the screen. But they got money, the initial investment money back, and then I think they got operational money as well. So yeah, the structure of the league definitely looked different this year. We haven't gotten a lot of information about the future of the league. So that makes me think that things are going on behind the scenes. But I think we're all just very fatigued, if we're being honest. As a community, I think Champs showed more than anything else that we are all just fatigued. Like, the talent's fatigued. They're tired of all of this. The people behind the scenes seem to be very fatigued. And the fans, like, we're all very fatigued, right? Like, let's look at some of the sentiment going into Champs. So, first Champs year compared to Formal, I just laughed at this when I saw it because I was like, oh, how we have fallen. I mean, looking at Formal, 186 kills from Hercules. Formal had 704. This isn't even comparable. A 1.44 KD with 704 kills. This guy has a 1.56 with 186. Very, very commendable. Plus 67, super commendable. Formal was plus 214. I mean, what are we talking about? A 3-0 S&D KD is very respectable, but then again, at this point, he only played 3 matches, right? And then Formal had a 1.44. He played Splice. I mean, he played Envy twice. Like, come on, bro. Like, we can't compare the two. As someone who was there watching it, as I was parading around New York City, getting ready to go off to college, it was probably the best run I've ever seen in my life in any esport. Like, that Optic run in 2017 was insane. Like, it can't be compared to anything unless we get back to open bracket and someone has like a Formal or simp type champs performance. Like, it's just not even comparable. I know a lot of people in the comments are going to be mad as hell because you're all Optic fans, and I feel like Jon Snow in the Battle of the Bastards anytime I say anything about Optic, because I mean, just some of the chirps I get from some of the people in the fan base are just insane. I can't, but I have to call a spade a spade. I mean, everyone's parading this around like Optic won 5 damn events this year, and it's maddening. It makes me go absolutely crazy because I'm like, what happened to logic, man? A month long layover. I mean, the game's in stasis since what, like February, March? I mean, like, what are we talking about? We're just not in a good place. I mean, yes, it's respectable. Optic, they made very necessary improvements. They look to be one of the better teams going into this. So, not taking anything away from them, but I'm like, hey, the position we find ourselves in is kind of the indictment of the format and everything that's been offered up and done at this point. And looking at the AR scoring list, right? Like, there's another indictment. The number 1 player, the number 2 player, the number 4 player, the number 5 player, all of these guys were gone by Friday. I mean, come on, man. Like, where's the entertainment value in that? Like, a month long layover when I looked it up a few weeks ago, the most egregious layover that we had was about 3 weeks. Last year's champs, I believe there was a 2 week layover. I'll double check in post. But yeah, I mean, it's just insane to see how things have changed, even looking at last year to this year. Like looking at the race to champs, LA Thieves, 540 points, 2 event wins. Faze, 505 points, 2 event wins. I mean, there was nothing here to suggest that both these teams would finish top 6, right? Like LA Thieves finished top 8. They were the first team eliminated, but they were the number 1 team going into this. I mean, if anything was an indictment of the format and how much things have just kind of blown up, it was the results we got at champs. It just, from a casual standpoint, if you're not like an Optic fan, it was just not very encouraging going into next year, right? Like, and let's look at some of the takes afterwards. Draws are going to Faze instead of OG is getting dragged right now. OG in 2 years have 3 wins. Facts. Yes, champs of the tournament you want to win, but being top 2 in the regular season both seasons and not placing them in every tournament except the 3 they won. If Faze win EWC again, no debate. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that last part. I mean, you definitely want to win champs. Like, I'm not a Faze fan who's like unrealistic. Obviously, this team wants to win champs, right? Back to back 6th places, not what they want. But Optic, the dynasty, they famously lost 2 champs in a row and then won their 3rd attempt. This Faze team, they won in Cold War and they haven't won since because everybody teamed up to take them down, right? So Vanguard, they made 2nd place. They made the grand finals. MW2, they did not make finals. That was their first 6th place. And then, wait, did they finish 6th place at MW2 champs? No, they finished like 3rd because they had Slasher. And then MW3, when they picked up draws, they finished 6th place. This year, again, they finished 6th place. we'll see. Maybe it holds. Maybe they have 4 champs that they stick, and the fourth one's the charm, right? Like we saw Optic, they had to go through AW, and I guess IW. Maybe that was just 3. So long ago. I'm pretty sure it was just 3, and then World War II is where they broke up. So yeah, I think that's right on the timeline. Maybe I'm missing a whole COD game. But anyways, it took a long time for them to finally get through and break the seal, right? The dynasty took a while to cement. So yeah, I think it's kind of the same here with Faze. Like Champs was very different back then too. Like it was more of a gauntlet than it is today. Like if you have one misstep in the current format or you see a team that you don't match up well against, prayers, like you're done. Like at that point in the year, Optic, they looked to be just the best team, right? Like they said in scrims, everybody's getting cooked. They put LA Thieves in like some sort of hellscape where they only ended up getting 11 points. I mean, we just got a very different game at the end of the year, similar to how when we come out of the winter break, we're always looking at a very different game, right? Like FaZe looked terrible going into the winter break. They came out of it as the best team in the game, along with LA Thieves, and they did not look that going into winter break. So Call of Duty is definitely a game of momentum, and when you take a whole month and just freeze the momentum, you're guaranteed to get different results on the other side of that, especially in a tournament where you play 4 matches to win a championship title, right? So, yeah, I don't think FaZe is really looking at draws as saying, you're the problem, brother. I mean, the format is the problem, right? Like, it's single elim essentially based on the fact that, like, if you have one bad day, you're going to have a really damn near impossible matchup the next day. You're going to fall to a decent enough team most times because usually we don't just have one upset on Thursdays or Fridays. If it's one of those like for all the dogs tournaments, as I like to call them, where anything that can and shouldn't go wrong does. Usually we'll see like a Faze LA Thieves round 1 or something, some BS that robs us of a grand final that we all want, right? So yeah, I mean, it's more of an indictment of the format because if you look at Halo as a counterpoint, they rarely have tournaments where like the best teams don't make it all the way through, right? Like it's very rare to have a tournament like what we saw at DreamHack, I believe it was, where you have like no, before DreamHack, the tournament before DreamHack, Arlington, where you have SR taking on Optic right out of pools. I mean, it does happen, but it's not like obviously the most common outcome, right? So usually, even in Halo, we don't have these kind of like flops where we see all of our best teams just go home. And if they do, you can kind of understand and read through it. With this event, it just looked like layover cheese and, the game being broken cheese, honestly. So let's talk about this next piece. All this talk about Optic having an equal season to Faze and Thieves doesn't make sense. Champs just a glorified major with less teams and a bigger prize pool and a month break beforehand to give the lower teams extra time to hyper focus on their matchups. This is the take that I really support because everyone had an extra month to just lock in on their round 1 matchup. Optic, they went to the hyperbolic time chamber like Goku. They meditated, they learned all the ass whooping combos that they were not traversing the 4 times they played Faze prior this season. And they learned from them, right? Like they locked in, they made the necessary improvements, and they looked great as they should. But it doesn't take away from the fact that, like, if the season ended when it was supposed to and we went into champs maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, there would still be things that they were adjusting to and not able to solidify that they can definitely solidify in a month. And, everybody's sitting here, glazing, Dashy's the GOAT, Shotzi's the GOAT. I mean, respectfully, they had to make 6 different roster changes, bro. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, you make 6 different roster changes. You did not have the best year of anyone. And I feel like sometimes being in this community, like, logic just goes into the abyss. Because if you're looking at the year and you're saying that Optic had the best year, then I don't know what to tell you, brother. Just winning champs doesn't make your year that great if you were fighting for your cheeks every other week. I mean, this team, we weren't sure who was going to show up to champs. I mean, let's be real, guys. Like, Hex stepped in, he made the big man boss move, and hats off to him. He said, hey, you guys need to get your heads out of your asses. We're not putting Caesar Skies in again. Like, what are we doing here? And he was right. He picked up Mercules, they won champs, and W Hex. Honestly, Hex brought this all to fruition. That was a godlike call from him. And they deserved that champs win because of the fact that he made such a decisive and smart call to just put an end to the musical chairs that they were playing, right? So Another thing I want to talk about, speaking of the big boss Hex and the boss call he made, excuse me, he tweeted to Hixie, who was talking about Caster and the CDL rule set being neglected this year. Yeah, it's been broken for 6 months. So basically saying the game's been broken since January, playing on reverted patches. If you guys didn't know, the CDL plays on an old version of the game. So their client, I believe, is from February or March, something like that. So months and months old client that they're playing on. And EWC, they'll have like public match control spawns and current settings and things. So it's a toss. Like, so yeah, Hex is asking, guys are just filling me in on this. Is it really that effed up? Anyone know if it'll be patched by EWC? Yes, it was, but just because we're not playing on the current CDL competitive settings. So another thing, even some Optic fans are agreeing with the logic that can't be denied, which is that their year was terrible, but they turned up when they needed to, and that's just commendable. So, as a fan of Optic, anyone trying to argue that Optic have had a better season than Faze or Thieves are delusional. They had the biggest turnaround from the lowest low COD has ever seen. Insane achievement and resilience, but let's not be recency biased. Yeah, I mean, Torment's gold star for being an objective fan. I mean, if Faze won or if LA Thieves won, I would still think that this champs was absolutely disgraceful just because I mean you have CEOs calling out players. Well, obviously if that happened, CEO would not have called out said player. I mean, just with the champs that we got, it was just such an indictment of the mismanagement and just the miscalculation that this year was from top to bottom from all the people that make this happen. For me as a content creator, this year has been really trying because, there there's just so little passion from the players, the people that run it, and all the negativity has just gotten very overwhelming for me. Like I do this for fun on the side, outside of work, and I don't know that I really want to keep doing this. Like this year was just so overwhelmingly negative from like all vectors. It was just very hard for me to just stay on my little bike and keep riding. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. It's just been a crazy year and everybody's been so damn down on Call of Duty. It's just like, man, like, where's the light? One thing that was encouraging, we had our best numbers, I guess, ever. New COD League record. Optic Texas being in the grand finals was a blessing. It was what we needed because otherwise this would have been like a death note for the entire Call of Duty esports scene. And I recognize that, I always try to be somewhat positive and I don't like to really talk about the negative aspects of, what's going on, but it's undeniable that this is in a kind of a what would I call it? Like a death spiral, right? Like we got bailed out by Optic making finals. So looking at it, number one COD League event by peak viewers, and number four Call of Duty event by peak viewers all time, I guess. So that's pretty good. But when you look at the numbers in context, they tell a quite different story, my friends. Looking at the average viewers, you guys can see it's 158,000, right? Overall. Peak viewers, 353,525 people. Incredible. 3,755,000 hours watched total. Very incredible. Great numbers. But you guys know I did a double major in data science. What they taught us with data science is to always look at the numbers in context. Optic played 4 series to get their ring, right? But when you take the average of the 4 series they played, it's 245,000 viewers. They averaged 245,000 viewers them damn selves. And the average viewers, with Optic being included, was still 158,000. Now, I don't pay for the esports chart, so I couldn't calculate the other 12 metrics. I'm not paying $30 just for an asinine offhand answer in the video, but I'm pretty sure that if someone else were to obscure the final 12 matches, yeah, I mean, the Optic numbers are outliers, right? Like they're well above the average 188, 200, 237, 353. Just with a basic understanding of stats, you guys know that median values and things like that are more resistant to outliers, but the outliers definitely always skew the averages, right? So looking at the Optic average, it was damn near 100,000 more than the overall average. And that's kind of just an indictment of how much legwork needs to be done overall if there's any sort of overhaul for this league, because that's not sustainable, right? Like, look at this, guys. I mean, look at this. They had to cover the entire, what is that? One, two, three, four. So, like, this looks like 15 or so rows, guys. That's not a good look. These are seats that were not sold out, And as you can see, Optic is on stage. You can see Coach JP. They just won the rings, right? They just won the championship. And this is Sunday. They had all this tarped off because they couldn't sell any tickets. I mean, I love COD too, but this is not a good look for us. This is very discouraging. So yeah, that's all I had for you guys. I don't really know where to go next from here. I really don't know how much content I want to make next year, just based on how bad this year has been. Getting my website up and stuff, working with my dad to do that. Yeah, he's helping me to transition into a different place. I don't know how much more content I'm really going to be putting out, guys. Like next year, maybe I'll have a change of heart and I'll be like, no, I've done too much, or some like random thought that pops into my anime main character ass head sometimes. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I've always just like encouraged myself through all of the discouraging metrics that pop up in the scene year to year, just due to the mismanagement I was talking about. I don't know how many more of those I got left in me, guys. I'm 26. I'm getting deeper into my career, like my dream job, and this was just a fun thing on the side. Like, I'm getting my site up and everything to offer you guys everything that I've built over these last few years. But I don't know. The passion in the community is at an all-time low. And as a result, I just don't know how I feel nowadays. So yeah, didn't want to bring things down too much with like a semi-negative video, but I feel like objectivity just kind of needed to be injected into a lot of different conversations that I've been seeing take place across the community. And I feel like you guys are always primed for my thoughts and opinions on these things, even if some of you leave comments saying, if I wanted your opinion, if I wanted a random's opinion, I would go to game chat. Well, not exactly a random, not exactly somebody, just a guy who's been here for a while. And I love this. So figure I'd give my 2 cents and just kind of like give light to some of the things that people have been saying that I do agree with, counter some of the things I don't agree with, and give you guys my opinions on the state of competitive COD as a whole. It's not in a great place. Things can get better. I hope they get better. And, I'm going to keep building, but I'm going to definitely be more cognizant of where things are going and how much effort is appropriate from my side as a result of that. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoy this video. Hope you enjoy me doing something a little bit different. You guys have shown a lot of support this year. Really appreciate all the new people who have tuned into the channel throughout the season. As I said in my last video, it's been a great year. I met a lot of great people. And, even though the community's been ultimately quite negative, this year was a pretty good one for me. I was very happy doing watch parties, getting to interact with a lot of you guys in the chat on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. Like, it was overwhelming. There were so many people to talk to, and I'm just one guy. So the Discord went crazy. We got over 100 people in there still. So I really appreciate all the love that you guys have shown me in the community this year. It was personally a very good year in terms of like socializing, but all the other surrounding vectors in the scene were very discouraging. And yeah, it's only because of like the support that you guys have given me in my small community that I really did decide to keep going. So I appreciate everyone who watches these videos. I don't really know who's watching to a degree unless you leave a comment. I know some people have anxiety about that, so I don't want to bully anyone into leaving comments or anything like that. But it really does help me to keep going, and I do appreciate the comments, just knowing that, this is useful to somebody and it's not just going to hundreds of people who don't get what I'm doing. So I appreciate all of you guys who have been showing love and support verbally, just with views, likes, whatever you're doing. I see it, I appreciate it. And yeah, I don't want to yap too much. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't, make sure you leave your voice some feedback on what I can do better and what your thoughts are if they differ. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great morning, noon, or night, like I always say, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Once again, this is Chris from Fake Sports News React Rotation. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.